Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back again today to record another pick a card reading for you guys. I haven't done a pick a card in a little while here, so I don't know, excited to do this pick a card reading today. I have been focusing very much on doing my live recordings, yeah, I'm excited to do this. This video is about motivation, inspiration, and making it through a time where there is, symptoms of burnout. People being very anxious, overly tired, easily triggered, not really feeling motivated, not really feeling inspired. A lot of people experiencing probably lower energy because of the winter time, or just seasonal depression because of the winter time, and needing something to kind of get them through this time. The sun is in Pisces, and so this is Pisces season. We just have a little while left before the sun moves into Aries and the spring reaches its equinox. So it's just a little bit of a transitional period of time for a lot of people, but hopefully whenever you watch this, you find this video inspiring and helpful in some way. So I was inspired by an Instagram post, so I'm going to give him credit. The account for that Instagram was My Easy Therapy, and it talked about the symptoms of burnout. I had, in my readings, really come across people experiencing, and friends too, experience higher than normal anxiety. Myself, I have gone through periods where I felt extremely burnt out of recording so much, and burnt out, I guess, of things being the way they are, if that makes sense. And so I did another video where I talked a little bit about this, but I wanted to this video specifically to do a pick a card reading for this topic. So basically I'm going to jump in and hold up 3 cards, and then you can pick whichever card you resonate with the most. Before I get started, I do want to say I am still offering private readings. You can book a reading through my website. You will need to send a payment through PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, and then email me some good days and times and your time zone. It's very helpful. And regarding donations, I am still accepting donations, so if you'd like to donate, you can donate through PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. All donations, great or small, are appreciated at this time, and just makes my whole world spin when people donate. It's great to reciprocate energy, and just makes everyone feel good for donations. So just want to say that. And I am still partnering with Jackery, so if you want to check them out, the link will be in the description box below. They do solar power generators, and I find them really cool. So I'm going to hold up 3 cards, jumping right in, and we'll just kind of go from there. Okay, so this is the first card. Pile 1, group 1. This is card 2, pile 2, group 2. And this is pile 3, group 3. So really what I'm looking for here is any messages that come through regarding maybe encouraging people to be, or how things are going to kind of roll, and encouraging people to stay positive, stay motivated, and be inspired. So hopefully something will click, and we'll just kind of roll with it and see what I get for the messages that come through. So group 1, pile 1. Again, this is card, and this is the card about blind enthusiasm, which is not really knowing what you've gotten yourself into. Being kind of along for the ride, and not seeing things really clearly. Now, this has come up when things have happened too fast in relationships, or things have happened too fast in life, or I've signed up for something And then I really realize, oh, that's not going to work for me, and I really want to pull out of it. Or the energy just does not match. You know, it's like going on a date and kind of going a little bit too far. Or like going on a date and then realizing, you know, it was, you talked about a lot and everything was really good, but like there's certain things that they don't want that you want. And then you have to basically message them the next day and say, hey, I don't, as much as I like you, I don't think it's a match, you know, some stuff like that. This video too is also focused, I want to focus on the stuckness, the thing about stuckness right now. So for people who feel stuck, especially in this pile, if you have felt stuck, I think that the key here is, you know, looking before you leap, making sure you're looking things over, looking things through. We are still in Pisces season, deep in Pisces season. And that means before you send the email, making sure all the T's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, you know, going slowly if you're dating, going slowly in not only your dating relationships, your partners, this is with family, this is with friends, making sure that you're being open and clear about expectations, open and clear about what you want, open and clear with how things are. This is also, the thing about this card is about how usually this is someone who's living in the moment, and there's a dreamlike quality to this energy. So pile one, you may actually have some planets in water signs, and you may at times be caught up in fantasy type relationships, or caught up in some of you caught up in like the fairy tales of life. And the fairy tales of life are things that are taught to us, especially when we're children, about, you know, happily ever after. You know, getting married and living happily ever after. To me, that's a fairy tale, okay? There are people who do get married and they stay together for a long time and they are happy, quote unquote. But those people are, I would say, fewer than the people that get into a relationship and then realize that it's after a period of time, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that it's no longer going to work for them for whatever reason. And so some people, like in this pile, live in a kind of, and that's just an example, okay, live in a kind of fairy tale mentality where things, there's a lack of reality here, where things are, and it's not just positive energy, it's more of like the dream-like quality to life. Some of you, you know, who have certain ideas about how your life is supposed to look or how your life is supposed to go. Like this, for example, would be applicable to someone who believes that, you know, okay, like just say as an example, that if they were to start dating today, then they'd end up in a relationship that would lead to marriage immediately. And there's no question in their mind that they would find a partner easily and effortlessly, and it would just all work out. To me, that's a dreamlike quality, because not everybody's on that same page, and dating can be challenging, and not everybody wants a relationship. So again, the realities of things, I would caution this group very much so, to kind of start to become a little bit more awakened to whatever beliefs that you have that have a fairy tale like quality to them. Okay. I'm not saying that this is something that you're even really like, so for some people, that this is so ingrained in culture, especially women, and so ingrained in our culture that we naturally believe that this is how things are supposed to go, that things are supposed to have this kind of fairy tale like quality. And the feminine aspect, you know, that I've seen with this, with people that live in kind of a fairy tale mind, usually become very disappointed, because what happens is they meet meet their counterpart, whether it's male or female, that doesn't have that fairy tale mentality, that doesn't see things in that way, that doesn't necessarily want a long-term partner or want a long-term marriage, and they only just want, you know, to have a good time or to have fun or to see what's out there, and they're not necessarily looking for commitment, or they're not necessarily looking for XYZ, or they're not necessarily on the same page as you. This is also hoping, wishing, and dreaming that things will work out, my guide said. Even when the reality is, let's just say the reality is different than that. So let's just say the reality is most likely you're not a match for this. Say you're interested in someone, you're not a match, but like you're still hoping and wishing and dreaming it'll work out anyways. Or let's just say hypothetically you go to a job and you're like, it's not going to work for me, but there's this hope or this dreamlike quality of like, maybe it will in time, or maybe things will change, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, your boss will pay you more, or things like that. So I want to see what other cards we get for this group. This is a very interesting group. I feel like it's very important for those of you watching to really address what's not working in your life, to really look at everything in your life that's not working. Let go of what is no longer working. Let go and move on with life, with your life, regardless of how it looks, or regardless of what you're chained to, or what you've been told that you have to do. You have to be true to yourself. You have to be real with yourself. And you have to, on one hand, to like really examine the situation that you're in with all of your relationships and say, how do I really feel? Like, how do I really feel about this? And be honest about that. And be like, you know, and if the truth is you really don't like where you're at, then that's the reality of the situation. If the truth is it's time to move on from something that was no good for you, then that's the reality. Then if the reality is it's not going to work out. The reality is you have to move on. And the hard part is, I think for some people, wanting some level of the fairy tale and coming to terms with that, and coming to terms with, okay, things not working out. Like, okay, so like, and things changing in time. Okay, so for example, I'm just going to use this example. And I don't know why this is showing up here. There's something about art and music showing up here for someone. So like someone's an artist or someone's a musician, or there's some elements of some creative thing that they're doing, and they may be trying to push that forward, but maybe it's not working. Like, or maybe, you know, people aren't buying, say, the art or the whatever. And there's some elements of needing to accept, like, whatever way you're going with it isn't working. And needing to do something different. But like, yeah, like for example, like, so I went to art school, you know, I have a bachelor's degree, but I'm not using that. If, for example, I was still in the mindset of using that back in the day, then I wouldn't have accepted the reality of the fact that I got out of school and I didn't use it the way I had anticipated using it. And there was no way for me to use it. I think I applied to, I think it was like 45 art galleries to show my work, 2 of which were out of the country and would have required like $4,000 to ship my work. You know, it wasn't going to work for me. You know, it was very challenging. And then I kept, you know, contacting people, and there was all this whole shift in, the gallery scene, and all these things changed with the art world. And so essentially that door closed. So for some of you, the door has been shut on something, It could be a relationship. It could be the way you were thinking about life. It can be the way, you had anticipated things going, maybe with a career or with your schooling for someone that's watching. Like maybe like whatever you were studying in school is not what you really want to do now. Or like maybe you thought like if you went to school and you got a certain degree that you would get out and, all these things would line up for you. And maybe that is the case for some. Maybe things have lined up, and maybe that's not the case for others. So it really is going to depend on, those of you who are watching, how this kind of works out. But it feels to me like most of you will need to let go of the dream of that you had at that time with that thing. Okay. So the dream of maybe getting married to a certain person, and moving in and having children, or settling down with that person. Or for some of you, the dream of, let's just say hypothetically, going in a certain career direction and, maybe deciding that the career is not really working out for you. Or, for some, you have to be very careful. There are certain careers and certain things that you get into, and it's just like, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. It's like, it's not what it seems. To me, this is the illusion. I don't know. I want to say like insurance type jobs, where you get into the job and then they say, well, okay, the quota is, X, Y, Z. And even though we're paying you base salary, you will only get that if you meet your quota kind of thing. And there's a huge reality check there, because you're like, well, if I have to meet the quota, I'm not going to be able to meet the quota right away, and it's going to take time, and I'm going to need to pay my bills. There's something very practical in this that needs to be addressed. That's not being addressed here. But again, schooling wise, you could think you'd be going back to school maybe to get a master's or a certificate or in something, and then you get out and you're like, okay, I thought I was going to be able to use this, but for whatever reason, I'm not able to use this, or this is not necessarily adding to anything, So I would say for those of you who are watching, the way to become unstuck in your situation is to accept that whatever is no longer working in your life is not meant to be there anymore. It's just not meant to be. And to be open to new opportunities, new possibilities, and new ways of thinking about things, especially in relationships. But I'm also seeing for some of you, changing your diet, changing your habits, changing, things going on with your social life, changing the way you view relationships. So to me, this is like a major shift for a lot of you. And this is going to be challenging. This is why for some of you are a little bit maybe stuck, because you're like, I don't really know what to do next. I probably would recommend for those in this pile, a private reading. That way I could really see, okay, what else is going on here. I want to move on to pile 2. Pile 2, group 2. So this card is, what is this? The 9 of Cups. Yep, this is the 9 of Cups. This is a card about success. So I want to see what other things come up around this energy. To me, this does feel like very much like a career-focused group. This group is very career-focused. I'm going to be honest. This group is headed in a direction that feels a little bit out of control. Like this group, it feels like it feels like there's major things that are happening, because we have the Tower plus the Knight of Pentacles. I don't like to see them together. The Tower is the unexpected. The Knight of Pentacles is, needing to move on from something. So, but also going too fast, like spinning. So this could also, again, this is like the the trigger, being triggered by something. This is also the exhaustion that comes to me after being constantly in go mode. I feel like the exhaustion is dealing with events and certain things that are shocking. To me, this is life stuff. To me, this is like life throwing you curveballs. And I would tell you to be very cautious about driving. So those of you who drive a lot or on the road a lot, you need to be very careful and cautious around people when you're out driving, okay? I feel like this is not necessarily you, but this could be somebody else getting into a accident of some kind. I don't like to say that, but I'm seeing it here, and you guys need to really be careful. So you might get news of somebody that was in some kind of accident. I feel for most of you, and that's only like, it's not for everyone, okay? So I don't want to scare anybody. That's fear tactic, okay? Like this is just for someone. The way it matches up in my mind with the Tower and this Knight of Pentacles is generally some kind of accident. But the thing is that to me, it almost seems like it's two separate instances. So like looking at it, the Tower can also indicate divorce, breakup. And we have this Knight of Pentacles that's kind of just like riding away from the situation, getting away from the situation, packing their things and going, getting to their car and going, you know, getting into an argument or fight, and then like needing to like really take a time out from it because it was just kind of traumatic in some way. To me, it leads to pain and suffering, because we have the three of swords also. So I take it very seriously, guys. You know, those of you who are watching, because this is supposed to be more of like a motivational or inspirational video, I really want to focus on like the positive elements of these energies. So let's just say hypothetically you felt stuck in life. The way to get unstuck is to get out of your situation with a person, with a relationship. Or if you feel stuck in a career, is to get out of Dodge, because that's the Tower. It leads to a lot of uncertainty, and the uncertainty, you know, we have this three of Wands is, you know, this could be like a contract job for some of you. This is like a contract job, like something coming to an end. I feel like you could have two things happening. You could have, or maybe three even. You could have something unexpected happen at work, or something unexpected happen to someone in your life. Maybe they are, you know, get into an accident or something happen. And then we have this moving on and trying to heal from whatever pain, suffering, and sorrow has been caused. And then we have this Three of Wands leading to the Three of Wands, which is, you know, coming to the end of your road or rope with something, or the contract, whatever, with work ending. I don't know, there's a lot going on in this pile. Like seriously, it is almost too heavy for me to even like get into, because the energies are so intense. Like to me, it's a very intense energy. And some of you just may feel like, to me, this is the most anxious group out of all three. I'm just going to say, I haven't even got to the third, but this is the most anxious group. So this is just very, very heavy, and I'm going to move on from this energy because it's almost too much for me. The key to this energy is to recognizing your divinity, because we have the Nine of Pentacles, recognizing your talents and gifts, moving out of the fear space, moving out of the anxious space, moving out of, oh my God, what's going to happen next energy. Because I feel like some of you are very much into like, oh my God, what's going to happen next. It's going, and your life may have been like this already. So for some of you, this is like your life, and it's very intense, and there's a lot going on. Okay. So we are moving on to pile 3, which is the Ten of Pentacles. And let's see, what is going to inspire you guys? Some of you are very stubborn when it comes to relationships. Maybe you are kind of wanting one person, or are, let's just say, in a relationship for the stability. To me, there's a lot of love in this pile. So the thing is you're going to need to surround yourself, and maybe you already do. Maybe you already have, people around you that love you, or people in your life that are very loving and supportive. There's a lot of love and support in this group. So it's interesting to see why. It's almost confusing to me why a little bit you would need, well, to me, people who are stubborn typically need motivating. They need help because they get stuck on things very easily. They don't necessarily see why they need to change. And in this group, it might evade you a little bit of what you need to change. Some of you might be kind of perfectionists in this way, where you actually might have a lot of positive things going for you, and you might not even realize how many blessings you've got in your life. This is a very colorful group. Group 3 is a very colorful group. To me, you have a very colorful, beautiful life. And maybe you were curious to see what might come up for this, but I feel like you have a colorful, beautiful life. And the only issue that you have is or the issue that I see going on here is just, for some of you, it could be, you get stuck on things. In some way, it's almost like you're pushing yourself too hard. It's almost like you're beating yourself up. So in this way, you need to take time to rest, or time to be nice to yourself. For this group, for most of you that are watching for this group, it feels like for many, you're over giving. You're giving so much of yourself to so many people. You have a lot of love in your heart, and you have a lot to offer, a lot to give. But for whatever reason, maybe people are resistant to that, or maybe the people don't want that. So in this way, this is where you need to kind of find your tribe and find your friends and find people who you resonate with. And it's hard. It's not that easy. And some of you may, meet a lot of stubborn people or attract stubborn people. So, I am a stubborn person, so I can say this for myself. I tend to attract stubborn males. And, they say that stubborn people just have a lot of soft underneath all of that stubbornness. So it's really trying to connect better with other people, but and basically showing people that you have a lot of love. And it's one of those things that it might scare people how much love you actually have, and how much light you actually have. It might scare people. This group, I would say, you got to get the book, my favorite book by Melody Beattie, Journey to the Heart. Because you're dealing with people that have issues around being authentic, issues around connecting. To me, this energy is easy, but for some reason, other people make it hard, and I don't know why. But that book, I think, would really help you, hopefully inspire you in some way. It's my favorite book. Honestly, I read from it. I do want to read more of it in future videos. Yes, music. This is a very musical group. Group 3, going out to live concerts, live shows, being around music, playing an instrument. These are all things that are going to help you break through any stuckness that you've got. But in general, I feel like this is a very positive group, and there's a lot of things that are In some way, this group that are going to come to pass that are very positive for you. To me, if you get stuck at any point in time, I would just tell you to keep going. I really would. This is not one of those things where it's really about being stuck for too long. This is to me, this is like the light workers group. This is what I feel like. I feel like this group is a light workers group. And some of you, sometimes as light workers, you can get frustrated with things maybe not going right, picky things that aren't happening on time, little details, little things. I would tell you, really focus on the gratitude, focus on what you have, keep going, and try to connect to music as much as you possibly can. That's what I would say. This long video, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it so much. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. All right, take care. All the best. Bye.